1 year ago today, I quit porn. I tried many times before, but this time it was different. Simply because it was easy. I didn't need to use willpower, I didn't need to join a support group, and I didn't even create any blockers. In this video, I'll discuss step by step the process that I went through for dismantling my porn addiction. First, a little background. From about 8th grade, I started watching on a daily basis. And I knew this probably wasn't the best thing for me, but it seemed like everyone else was doing it, so I thought it was fine. I only noticed that it was a problem when I tried to quit. Now I could go a couple days without it just fine when I was on vacation or when I was too busy and distracted, but I'd always come back. By the end of college, on the other hand, it was a point of immense shame. I couldn't control myself, and no matter what I tried, I couldn't get off it. Then the pandemic made it much worse, because I had reached a new level of boredom that I had not seen before. So, a year ago, when I moved to New York City, I made it a point that this was going to be the year that I quit. How it finally happened was this. I was sitting on the toilet, sweating after just having an all-out battle with my bowels. I'm kind of constipated. And as I reached down to the silver knob, I hear something. Now, my bathroom walls are very thin, so I'm pretty accustomed to hearing the man upstairs breathing. But this was a new sound. I went back to the task at hand, and in the middle of pure bliss, I heard it again. This time, it wasn't just one, it was many, at increasing intensities. I think the man upstairs is watching porn. Now, my first reaction was pure disgust. How gross do you have to be to display it so publicly like that? After about 30 seconds of sitting there in complete shock, I make out a line of dialogue which paints a crystal clear picture in my head. What I heard was, "Let's go, Meg," coming from the familiar voice of Patrick Warburton, aka Joe from Family Guy. This man is watching Family Guy porn. Then I hear another male voice. I can't quite determine who it is, then I hear another and another. The last one I could make out, as it was Quagmire. This man is watching a Family Guy. At this point, I'm in a full body cringe. Cannot believe what I'm witnessing, and then I have a thought. What he's doing can't be that gross if you were doing the same thing not even 30 minutes ago. Not to the same material, but same objective. If you're so disgusted with his behavior, then shouldn't you also be disgusted with yours? So in that moment, I made the decision that I was going to change and not watch it anymore. Then I stood up and immediately fell over because my legs were completely numb. But instead of getting mad, I simply smiled. I knew that I'd never watch it again. Okay, so that's great and all, but how can we replicate this? The first step is to recognize that you are addicted. You are a drug addict, but you can't blame yourself. Our brains are not wired for this level of stimulus, which is available so easily. So no wonder we're addicted. Think about it like this. The reason that you're stressed, tired all the time, feel like there's a void, can't get yourself to do things, is because you're addicted. Every day you are flooding yourself to the point where you're completely desensitized to it, and everything else in comparison feels really nominal. If you're saying things like, "Oh, I can quit whenever I want, I just watch it for fun," no, you're addicted. If it's something that you want to change and you haven't been able to, it's probably because you're addicted. But lucky you, this one's easy to change. Step 2 is to realize what you gain from porn, or rather what you think you gain. Because the short answer is, it's nothing. You gain absolutely nothing from watching it. This is the discovery that changes everything. Once you recognize that you're not gaining anything from it, you won't even need to use willpower to resist it. To do this, list out everything that you think you gain. Whether it's relaxation, fun, relieving boredom, it helps you concentrate, sleep, you do it before socializing. Then go through and debunk every one of those items on the list. Let's start with relaxation. Does it really help you relax? Think about what you're actually doing. Scrolling through, trying to find the perfect video, opening 100 tabs. The only thing it's helping you relax from is the stresses that your addiction is creating. It's like saying, "I can't relax until I have a cigarette." The reason you're stressed out is because you didn't have a cigarette. And then once you have it, you're going back to your normal baseline. But if you're not addicted, you're always at the normal baseline, so there's no need for it. Go through each one on the list and you'll see quickly that they're all pretty easy to debunk. And then you come to the conclusion, there's no benefit. Zero. So there's this great story in The Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Allen Carr, whereby one day you wake up and there's a cold sore on your head. So you go to the pharmacist and they give you a free sample of an ointment. Get home, put the ointment on, and the next day it's gone. Then A week later, you wake up and it's back. So you go back to the pharmacist and he gives you a whole tube of this ointment. You put it on and it disappears. Then the next week it returns, but it's slightly bigger. And it gets slightly bigger and slightly bigger. Then it starts to spread over different parts of your face. Now this goes on for years. You're completely dependent on this ointment. Every time you travel, you make sure you take a couple tubes with you. Then one day, you're scrolling online and you see an article talking about the ointment and the fact that it doesn't actually help you remove cold sores. And that many other people are suffering from outbreaks of cold sores from this ointment. Would you continue to use the ointment? Do you think it would take a lot of willpower and determination to stop using the ointment? Probably not. You probably would just throw it away and move on with your life. Sure, your face may be kind of messed up for a week or two, but then it will go away and you'll look fine. Do you know that porn is giving you a whole list of negatives and no benefits? So what's stopping you from just canning it and moving on from your life? Really curious? Comment down below. Then, step number 4, and this is going to sound a little controversial, but have your last session. Really binge, and then notice all of the negative emotions or physical sensations. Shame, disappointment, unfulfillment. And then think about how marvelous your life will be without all of those. And make a decision to quit in that moment. Not tomorrow, because it will only get harder tomorrow. Remember, you're an addict. Don't envy the users, rather pity them. Be careful of these traps. First one being just one peak. This is kind of similar to eating just one piece of chocolate. We all know that it will never be just this once. Don't fall into the temptation to look at it even for a second. Remember, you're not gaining anything. The second is I can't focus or I can't sleep without it. Remember, go back to the list above. It's not actually solving the problem. Another one is cutting down, saying, oh, I'm just going to watch it once a week or once a month. This actually has the opposite effect, because then you're looking forward to the moment and placing much more value on it. Another thing is not waiting for this moment of realization where you finally don't think about it anymore or you've completely conquered the addiction. There's no such thing. A lot of people say that after 3 weeks you've quit the addiction or once you survive for 3 weeks. This puts in your mind that you're then suffering for the 3 weeks. Instead, if you just say, I'm not going to watch it anymore, there's nothing to suffer from. You're already done. You did it. It's only when you want it but can't have it will you suffer. So if you don't want it in the first place, there's nothing to suffer from. Now I hope these tips and strategies help at least one person on their journey to quitting porn. Boop. I'm at the